Welcome back to the Coco and Confident podcast, where the most beautiful thing you can wear is confidence.
Better let them know. This season, we are exploring high level conversations around who championed you. We are making time to amplify extraordinary girls and women to learn more about how they showing up and staying sane at this time in history. Y'all know it's a lot going on that could have us emotionally, mentally, and financially jacked up, but for God. Because of others in our lives who support us, we thriving, y'all. We out here thriving. Now, we begin to move into this segment. I want y'all to know this show is powered by Project Diva International, a personal and professional development organization for girls in middle and high school. The purpose of this podcast is to encourage girls to think critically about how they're showing up, and for our parents in our community to have insights into what these babies are thinking about when it comes to the world around them. Y'all got me on this episode. I am Miss Nita Kellogg. I am the founder and executive director of Project Diva. And I have with me one of our girls on the go.
Here is Damaria, and I'm also a co-host. Man, Miss Anita, we got a wonderful guest in the building today. Let me introduce her. Today we have Miss Ashli Henderson.
Hey, I'm happy to be here.
You are a daughter, a granddaughter, a mother, a community uplifter, and a comedian. What led you along your path into holding hands with your community and making the world better?
When did I know I was all these things?
Mm-hmm.
Well, my whole life I knew I was a granddaughter and a daughter, but as far as community and comedy, 2016 is where my journey started. And what led me is just being funny around friends and family and having a passion for people.
When you say a passion for people, what did that look like at that time? Like, how old were you?
2016, I think I was like 24, 23, 24, something like that, maybe 25. And at the time I was working retail. Or no, I was working for the airlines. And I've always had a background in retail or some type of customer service. And so I've always had a care for people. But I think that was planted in me from my grandmother. My grandmother was really big on helping people. We always had somebody living in our house that was homeless, or she was doing cheap daycare for single mothers. It was just something crazy like that. So I think that's where it was really, that seed was planted in me. But as I grew older, in my own ways, I started to find my passion for people for sure. So it
Were you
started there, and then it began to just blossom.
nice? Were you funny in high school or as a kid?
Yes, I've been funny my whole life. My family is a bunch of jokesters, so if you're not funny, you won't survive. And I had to be the funniest, man. I'm very competitive, and so I think the mix of the two is what led me to where I am now,
Wow.
for sure.
Wow. What you
Yeah.
thinking, Aria?
Okay, so I am gonna ask you a couple of questions. I hope that's okay with you. So my first question I have so far is, how did you get into acting?
How did I get into acting? Well, when I was younger, my great grandmother actually used to take me to different auditions. I remember doing like Oscar Mayer winner commercials and stuff like that. And I used to actually get paid to perform the Martin Luther King speech when I was like 4. And so I think, again, that's where the seed was planted. And then as I got older, I've always had a passion for acting. I remember I left my SAT test for an audition, but
Mm,
the comedy came a little later. Comedies would really kind of open the door for my actual career into acting, which led to doing like background work for different TV shows and movies, as well as being in national commercials.
okay.
Damaria, when you think about that, you know how like Miss Ashley has to be in front of stages, right? She has to be on stages in front of a lot of people. How do you feel about, you have a performance coming up at the end of your show? How do you feel about getting in front of all these people?
Well, since I have the end of the year show coming up soon, I'm kind of used to it because, as you know, I do African dance and I perform around like I performed many times before, a lot of in front of a lot of people, thousands of people. So it's like me going up there and saying stuff is not really a big scare for me because I've been performing and talking in front of multiple people before. So like if when we do this show, I'm gonna feel a little bit scared because I haven't did it in a minute, but I'm gonna feel happy. I'm gonna feel excited because I'm accomplishing something bigger than what I have did before.
You're better than me. I'm nervous before every show, and I've been doing comedy for almost 10 years. I'm like shaking in my boots before every gig.
Yeah, I feel that because I've been dancing ever since I was in first grade, going to second grade, and now I'm finna turn 15. So I've been doing this almost as long as you, 9 years plus, finna be 10 year next year.
Pretty
So I
cool.
feel you.
That's pretty cool.
You a vet. Wow.
Thank
So
you.
of other young people, like especially you're still a middle schooler and you talking about 9 years in.
That's crazy.
That's what's up. When you think about your peers, do you feel like you're way ahead of them in regards to like not having fear or like being able to push your fear into a space, right? Because again, this is a show for our confidence crew out there, which are mostly teens and parents. So when you think of Miss Ashley doing it as an adult and you doing it as a teen, like especially a middle schooler, do you feel you're a little bit ahead of your team, your peers?
Sometimes just because I'm faster and I'm like, I know I can get things done quicker than them because since I've been doing it for a long time and like they just, even though I just joined PDI this year, since kind of like last year, and they've been here longer than me, I know how they could do things better than me, but as me just joining something new to me, I feel like I'm coming up really fast because we we've been doing meetings and show up pop ups and stuff like that. So it's like it's helping me to get better myself and like helping our other girls in PDI help themselves too. So yeah, sometimes I feel like that, but
I think it's beautiful. The younger you are, I think it's easier to tap into fearless confidence. You're not as insecure, not always as insecure or overthinking the situation or the process. So I think that's beautiful. I think when I was younger doing performances, when I was in Afrocentric and we had to do different theater performances, I had the confidence that you have. I think that's a beautiful display of confidence.
Wow.
thank
That's
you.
what what else you got for it, Damaria?
Okay, so my second question is to like, what do you do to keep you focused throughout the whole entire day? If you have a busy schedule, like, what do you do? Do you listen to music? Do you like move around? Do you exercise? Like, what keeps you moving?
Prayer, meditation, prayer slash meditation. Um, Definitely music. I listen to music to get in my zone when it comes to comedy, of course. Relaxing. I like to relax. Whenever I have shows or if I have an event I have to work or even if I have an acting gig, I like to relax and really just kind of set my intentions on how I feel and I'm very intensive about myself. I'm attentive to myself, excuse me, and intentional about the way I exert my energy.
Mm, that's good. I'm gonna slide on that one. Being a comedian is work, right? Like in Project Eve International, we are coaching the girls around like building habits to give themselves a peace of mind also, right? And so
Mm.
when did you realize that habits were important to your career as a person and professionally?
I think it came from performing so much and realizing how I feel before, during, and after a set when I do one thing compared to the next. So if I feel rushed, if I don't feel comfortable, or if I just feel like my day was a little off, or if I'm rushing into a show, or if I don't have on the outfit I want to have on, if I don't have rubber bands or watch on my wrist, if I just little details about what I like to have, I feel a difference. And who is it? Deion Sanders. If you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. And if you
Yeah.
play good,
Uh,
So,
um, great outcomes. You know what I mean? And that's just kind of even before I heard him say that, that's just always kind of been an innate thing that I've felt. And again, it comes from time and trial and error.
yeah, because building habits is a real thing. Like right now, I'm on Duolingo, and I literally got on Duolingo to learn French, but more so for to build the discipline, right? Knowing
Yes.
every day I check in with a team of people because even at my age, being older than you two, I still have to work on the habits, right? Because
Yeah.
like I said, when you if I can make time to get up, get prepared, breathe, do my meditation, ease into my shower, ease into my clothes, leave 30 minutes before, 15 minutes before. So I'm just sitting for 5 minutes when I get there. I feel really good about myself, which then
Yeah.
I'm going to do well in the meeting and the results are going to be there. So that's so on point.
Even down to waking yourself up, like allowing your body. I don't even like Show days, if I can control it, I don't even want somebody to wake me up. Like I want my body to wake itself up. You know what I mean? And then I'm a vet, so I understand and embrace the power of discipline and habit.
So what would you share with the with our confidence crew about that? Like about discipline and habits.
It's very necessary. You know, the older you get, especially as an artist or an entertainer, at some point or another, you want to become self-employed, right? Because you want to be able to put all of your time and effort into your art and your craft, into what God has blessed you with. And so, with that being said, when you are an entrepreneur, you have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined financially. You have to be disciplined in your actions. There's a part to being an entertainer that has a small idleness or indolence and or laziness, kind of want to do things on your own time.
Yeah.
And so you have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined. Entertainers need to look good, so you have to be disciplined in what you eat. You know what I mean? For my job, I'm a physical comic. I like to move around. I'm not a sit down and perform comic. So I need to be able to breathe on stage. Which means that how I work out, how I eat, what I consume, it all matters. Yeah, my breathing matters. Even being disciplined enough to learn breathing techniques. So there's different things, and it's all about how much you care. How much do you care about the instrument, which is you, and how far are you willing to go to take care of that thing, which is you, that thing being you.
That's good. Damaria, what you thinking? But before you share, you did say you was a vet?
Yes, 5 years.
Girl, I never thank you for your service.
Thank you. Thank
Damaria, what you thinking, girl?
It's really good. I like how she gets out there and like put herself out there for anybody and just like help anybody, help the world. Cause you know some people don't really like to do that and they just want to be home and do whatever. But she's out there and doing her thing, getting money and doing all this as a young
you.
age as a black woman. So that's cool.
Thank you. Thank you for the support.
That's what's up. What else you got for us, Damaria?
Okay, so my third question I have is in the future, would you want your like your kids to like follow after you, or would you want them to do your own thing, like do whatever they want as of when they order, like be a lawyer or anything they want? Like, would you want them to follow after you, or like just do whatever they want when they end up?
My desire is that my child, or if I decide to have more children, but my desire is that they live in freedom. Every day I pray that my daughter has is blessed with imagination and the will to dream and to know that she can do whatever she wants to do. It is so easy to fall into being, not confident or just not trusting who you are
Mm,
and what you have in you, and being insecure or just minimizing your light, and so I always pray that my daughter has a big imagination. I want you to do whatever you want to do. If you want to become a box of crayons, I support it. Just be the best box of crayons you can be. You know what I'm saying? And so if
Mhm,
that looks like being an actor, if that looks like being a singer, if that looks like being a content creator, or if it looks like being a lawyer, whatever it is, as long as it makes you happy, I
mhm,
completely support it. But
wow.
whatever you do, be the best at it,
Mm,
because I'm the best at what I do.
period. Period. Oh, that's good. You know, when you talk about like, okay, so you have a daughter, we love the girls. And so one of the things when you go back to talking about like being an entrepreneur and your daughter seeing you, 'cause she's been with you since the beginning, right? And
Mhm.
so her seeing you go from the level of living that you were at to where you are now, and you think about like the money talk. A lot of our parents still don't talk about money at home. What has been your win around your finances in regards to not only increasing them or on the verge of increasing them, you know what I'm saying? And then dropping jewels on her along the way.
Well, I think I've had to learn the balance. I became a mom at a very young age. For everybody that doesn't know, I became a mom at 17. And so I had to learn. And I think a lot of mothers, we deal with this. I won't speak for everyone, but I'll say for myself, and some may be able to relate. We deal with overcompensating as a single mother, especially one that doesn't really get help from her dad or any help. I wouldn't even say really. I don't get any help from her dad, or he really doesn't even show his presence. So with that being said, I've overcompensated a lot in our relationship. And so I had to learn the balance between providing and overcompensating, one, right? Because there, as much as we think we're helping, there's an unhealthy pattern that is created within that. And then two, I've also learned to embrace the beauty of my struggle, understanding that she's learning what you can come from.
Mm.
Not about where you start, it's about how you finish and the process along the way. And so I think I've been very transparent with my child, and I've also been very knowledgeable, trying to teach her everything that I wasn't taught, that I kind of taught myself, as well as some of the things that my grandma did teach me about finances and how to really manage your money and balance it out. But being transparent about my downfalls with what I wasn't teaching her, and how it's okay to learn. It's okay to learn. Just because I'm your mom don't mean I got it all together. I'm only 17 years older than you. You know what I mean? And so and I'm an artist, which means I'm a fashionista. I like buying stuff. You know what I mean? I love buying new clothes and shoes. And so we've learned in our own little community of mother and daughter how to balance our money and create budgets for ourselves and save and to invest in different things like that. And we're still learning. You know what I mean? So yeah, so these are just the different things. I think the most important answer in that question is transparency.
I love that. Damaria, you want to share a little bit about your financial journey this year in Project Diva?
Yes. So what they have, like, so we have a three bucket list:
Mm-hmm.
emotionally, long term, and short term. So
Emergency.
I'm sorry, emergency fund. So what the girls gonna go is supposed to have $100 in all those buckets. But for me, how I did mine was I wanted to, like, for one of my goals for one of this year was like for me to have over $100 in those three buckets, and I accomplished that. I have
Nice.
$125 in that, so I'm proud of that because I got to work straight as they taught us about that. They told us about it. I got straight to work making money, doing what I can for me to earn money for me to fill up the buckets, for me to earn extra cash to this day. I still have over $200 for I put away, not just my bucket list, but for me to put away that I can spend anytime I want.
That's
So
good.
that's a pretty big help for me because I used to spend my money all the time. I didn't know how to save my money or nothing. I just kept on spending it until I joined PDI and they helped me save and know how to spend my money now and know when to not spend my money. So yeah, it's a pretty big help for me.
And how old again are you?
I'm 14. I'm gonna turn 15
That's
Keep
right.
that going. By the time you're my age, you're gonna be rich.
soon.
So just for our confidence improvement viewers, the whole idea of our financial intelligence piece when it comes to teaching the girls is all around ensuring that we know as the women, right, Ashley, that the emergency fund is, we definitely wasn't taught about that, right? We weren't taught that just have $1,000 sitting to the side because most of our hiccups come under $1,000. Then when it happened, we're robbing Peter to pay Paul, and then got to put it back. And so we're teaching the girls, like, at the end of the day, when you walk out of high school, we want their habits, going back to the habits, their habits of having that $1,000 fund, understanding that it feels good when you have to use it because you have it, and then knowing that you need to put it back, right? And then the short term is what we call the lifestyle. So, like you said, the shoes, the clothes, the car, the whatever
hmm
they understand like there's a bucket for that, and they can save for those bigger items that they want to purchase that may take them a little bit longer, or just to have that money sitting if they go on a trip, they got their own money for the trip, or you know what I'm saying, if they're
Hmm.
going to school something and they have, they have their own money for that, or they know how to save it in their lifestyle fund. And then their long-term fund is of course the retirement, because again, we weren't taught about the value of time. So
Hmm.
our girls in middle school and high school are putting aside their retirement money, and they have our financial advisor that they then sit with to then put the money in and then go through the investments that they have. So they're doing it
Nice.
earlier, right? So we know if they start now, by the time they hit 50, 60, that's a million just sitting, right? And that's not
Facts.
including if they go get a job and have a 401k, that's the second bucket, right?
Yep.
So we're, we're really excited about how the girls, like Damaria just said, when they learn about it, they own it. They're like, what? They
Mm-hmm.
really are,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they have all year to check in with their coaches, how they're doing, if they're having barriers. But like you're saying too, as an entrepreneur, you're figuring out ways to make sure you have revenue streams coming in.
You have to.
Because you know, you can the one stream might dry up, you still need the other streams. And so it's even getting them to think about ways that they can bring in income earlier, right? And
Yeah.
not always just be a consumer, but you know, being creative with how they bring in their money. And so yeah, I'm glad
And
that
as a creative, that lifestyle fund is a part of the budget.
yes, yes.
Fact. It's not even at this point clothes and shoes aren't even luxury as they are a necessity.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That leads us right into the journey into being My Cool Ash. When when did you arrive at the My Cool Ash as a brand?
I want to say 2017 or 2018, something like that. It was about a year or two after. My career in comedy was a lightning rocket. Like it, when I started, I just kind of took off. And that's no exaggeration. I To God be the glory, I was good from the moment I stepped on stage. And I've been getting paid since then too, and so from there I realized the draw that I had in comedy, and I am one to eliminate the middleman. So I was like, I could do my own shows. I could I can make my own money, and I love paying everybody else. And my desire again is people, so I like putting my homies on. If I have the bigger draw, but I can set a stage for my friends who are just as talented, I would do so. And so that's kind of where the brand began to develop and the word I guess I'm using is blossom. You know what I mean? My cool Ash came randomly. I just wanted a cool Instagram name, and it stuck. People started calling me Cool Ash. And so I was like, well, let's take that and run with it. You know what I mean? And then I had one of my homies draw up a design that I came up with. I actually got it tatted first, the smiley face. I got it tatted, and then I because I fell in love with laughter. Honestly, it's really organic. I fell in love with laughter. Like that's my favorite thing about comedy is that laughter is something different. It's a different type of motivation. And so once that became my addiction, my high, to hear that laughter, sorry about those words, but once that became a part of me, then I was like, that has to be the logo, and then so I was like the smiley face, but the smiley face is too generic. Anybody can use a smiley face, so I figured let's put my cool Ash as the smile, and then there you have it. We kept it running after that.
That's what's up.
Yeah. Mm.
Damaria, I remember the first time I saw Ash. I'm not for sure if it was your first show, but it was at Pierre's Comedy Club, Pierre and Bruce's. Com-
Baddies.
Got baddies when they was holding it down for all the comedians out the gate. So many
Yep.
of y'all got put on. Like that was the best ever. I think I came to almost every show.
Yeah. So it's funny how it happened. My first comedy show was actually at Acme Comedy Theater. And when I put up, I was like, speaking of confidence, right? I didn't think I was gonna ever be good. I'm like, I know I'm funny with my friends, but everybody was telling me like, Ash, do it. And I kept bluffing like for maybe half a year. I was bluffing from the end of 15 to 16. I was bluffing like 2015 to 2016 to be specific. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go do comedy. So one day we're at work and I literally was funny from the time we clocked in, which was 4 a.m. to the time we clocked out. Um, and they was like, nah, dog, you gotta go sign up. If you don't sign up, we're gonna sign you up. So I said, okay, I'm gonna go Monday. I had done my research already because I was bluffing about it. I said I'm gonna go sign up, and in my mind, I'm like, when I signed up, I went up there, I signed up. I said, if everybody that said that they're coming doesn't come, I'm gonna lie and say I did it. Right? I'm not really gonna do this. Everybody showed up, even my dad showed up. I'm like, oh God, now I really got to do it. And not only did I sign up, but they called me up first.
Oh,
I had 3 minutes. I rocked it. I rocked it so good. Now looking back, I was like, oh my God, it was rushed. It was blah, blah, blah. But at the time, it was amazing. And we even stayed to see how the other comics do because in open mics in that setting, you get 3 minutes if you're new. And then if you have some time, you get 5 to 7 minutes. And then, the time increases thereon. But nobody could top my 3 minutes. I kid you not. At that time, though, my homegirl Essence, rest in peace, found out that and she was the
Come on.
quintessential display
Yes.
of confidence and project diva. Like she
Oh my God.
was it. Shout out to Essence. But she
Yes.
heard I was going this particular night, and she called me. She was like, yo, before she called me, she was like, yo, I heard you going to do comedy tonight. I got a homeboy that does comedy and he puts on comedy shows. I'm gonna connect you with him. Well, I'm telling y'all this story because that night when I got done, I seen Pierre sitting off to the side. I didn't know Pierre,
Shut up.
but I seen Pierre sitting off to the side, writing in a notebook or doing something. And for some reason, I'm like, this must be the black dude she's talking about. It was not. It was not. It was a whole different comic who I also ended up working with later on. But my spirit told me to go to him, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you just got to listen to your gut. Even when you
Mhm.
think your gut is wrong, your gut is putting you in position, right?
Yeah.
That's the message. To God be the glory. I received that. So I go to Pierre. I'm like, yo, I think my friend Essence told me about you. And from there on, me and Pierre was locked in. He was like, well, come. I don't even think he saw my set. He was like, well, come and perform. And after that, baddies never they didn't let me not perform. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so that's actually how I ended up meeting Pierre. It was on accident.
That is
And it
crazy.
was the best decision I've ever made.
It was because I know the first time I seen you on stage at Baddies, I've been locked in ever since. Because I saw you. I've always told you this though. Like you're my Richard Pryor of today.
Thank
So
you.
the way you tell stories is similar to him, and everybody gets locked into those stories. So yeah, you've been dope from day one.
Thank you. Yeah. Baddies is certainly where I started comedy at Acme, but I learned how to become a comedian at Baddies.
There it is. That's okay. I feel you. You hear a
Yeah.
lot, you hear a lot of the greats talk about like their beginning days and how it was the crowd work.
Yeah. Crowd work, and not just crowd work, but being amongst greatness, right?
Yep.
You talk about Baddies, we're speaking on the one and only black comedy club that's ever existed in the city of Minneapolis or in Minnesota for that matter, as well as some of the greatest comics to come out of our city. Bruce and Pierre being two of them, Bruce being skilled in writing and structure, and then Pierre being skilled in working a crowd and stage presence. And then, me being younger than them and just having a different edge.
Mm-hmm.
I was really able to build my chops. And then, of course, them hiring great comics to come and just show me different things. Like, not that they were doing it for me, but I was willing to learn. That's another part about being a great performer is how well you are as a student of what you love and what you want to do. I studied all of them.
Man.
I
Wow.
studied all of them. Adrian Washington,
Oh,
Pierre Douglas, Shed G, all of them. Everybody that came through Baddies, I studied them and I became my own version of what I seen.
yeah. And I want to say you were the first female.
Very much so.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, you were the first female on stage. Well, Damaria, what are you thinking? What you thinking?
I love her.
I love you more. Thank
She's
you.
a perfect.
You can talk to her, girl.
Yeah, you can talk to me. You got any other questions?
How do you feel about like being a comedian? Like, how do you feel about being a comedian, actress? You're like the most famous black woman out there, being the funniest person out there. Like, how you feel about it? Are you proud of yourself?
I feel blessed. I feel like I have a responsibility to myself and to God I truly do. I feel like I have a responsibility to do the best thing that I can do, which is use my gift at every time, every moment that I have. I am starting to understand just how talented I am. And so I'm starting to really get into exploring how far I can go with my talents and gifts. So I feel blessed. I feel honored. I feel humbled at the same time. And the easy answer is I love it. I love what I do. There's a scripture that talks about laughter being the medicine to the soul, and I love being the medicine.
That's cool. I love the fact that you mentioned Essence. I got chills when you mentioned her.
I
Essence,
thought,
she is Project Diva. She will always be Project Diva. She would come and spend time with us and the girls. She coached girls, while she was here. She just her presence on this planet was so profound for all of us who got the opportunity to spend time with her, like time with her.
yeah.
And I don't know if you like we live by her mantra, we're done chasing, we're just living in our destiny.
Come on, man. I'm done chasing. I'm living. Let me tell you something. And this is the truth. This is honest to God truth. I first started comedy. I want to say it was my first year. Her one woman show was a turning point to my performance. When I saw her do her one woman show, I was like, yo, I can do this. Like, I've never had a peer that I looked up to
Come on.
like I did with Essence. And then Essence, as dark as she was the light.
Come on.
She was the light of every room that she entered. And so for me, she is again the quintessential meaning of confidence and Project Diva and what a woman is and what an entertainer is. Like, yeah, she really she was that one woman show at the Capri was the pivotal moment, was a pivotal moment for me in my career for sure.
Let me tell you something, Damaria. She had one of our girls introduce her at her first at that opening night. Like that's how much not only did she put a stamp, but she always brought us with her. Like no matter like all of us, me, you, the kids, like she always brought us to stages with her. She was just I love and miss her so much.
Me too. I have a message from her still that I saved that is, yo, when you make it big, I need tickets to front row. You know what I'm saying? I just hear her voice. But yeah, that was my thought.
All right. Well, while we get ready to wrap up, Demaria, let's hop into who championed you. Who are the people that championed you, Miss Ashley?
Who champions me?
Who championed you up until this point, and who still champions you?
Like the people that root me on?
Yep,
That
people
we're asking?
that were
Well, first
staples
and
in
first,
your life that really made you who you are. You know what I'm saying? Without them, you would not be who you are.
Here.
first and foremost, God. I always have to reference him. You hear me talk about God a lot because I really don't know who I am without him. And this gift that I have, the way that I do what I do, is really I can't explain it at all. Miss Nita tell you that. Like I half the time I don't even write down my jokes, but I can formulate a set on in the moment, and that's just I don't know how I do it. So God, my daughter, that's my ride or die.
Mm-hmm.
My family is my rock. I am blessed and fortunate enough to have an amazing support system, which is my family, my friends, all my homies in comedy, and the friends that don't do comedy, the love in my life, no. um, and myself.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, when you're on the road to success, there are times where you don't feel like you have anybody else, and if you're strong enough, you know how to root yourself on. And my supporters. I feel like I have an amazing wealth of supporters. Like everybody loves me. I'm not Chris. Everybody loves me. You know what I'm saying? So I love that. Miss Nita's one of them. So yes.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Demaria, do you have any last questions before I ask?
I do have a question that just came up. Since you basically you came up with all this on your own and like with the help of people that you have in your family. So, as a somebody who wants to have like their own business and stuff, what is advice that you could give to people? Like, what advice can you give?
Particularly to teen black girls, black teen
Yeah.
girls.
Um, do do what you need to do when people aren't watching. Be disciplined and believe in yourself. The easiest thing you can do as a black woman is to have disbelief
Mhm.
because there's so many parts of the world that are against us. It's very hard being a Black woman, not just in America, but just period. Like, I don't care where you exist. Being a Black woman is hard. So it's easy to have doubt and disbelief because people around you will try to put that inside of you. And like I said, when answering the last question, one of the people that's always championed me is myself. I believe in myself. I know that I can do anything I want to do, regardless of if nobody else supports that. And so that's my biggest piece of advice is do what you want to do and believe that you can get it done.
What you think, Damaria?
It's good because, as y'all know, I want to have my own business when I'm ordering. So, like, just hearing this is like a good help
Yeah.
for like good evidence for me to like when I'm ordering stuff. And like, if I don't believe in like my business is not working, I can just remember what Miss Cool Ass said and help me get through that. So, yeah.
Yeah, because having a business, what you can do, having a business has its ups and downs. I'm sure Project Diva has had highs and lows, even though it's successful. I'm sure there's days where it doesn't feel like we don't know how we're gonna make this happen, you know? And so that's when you have to believe in yourself the most when it seems impossible.
That's good. All right, Miss Ash, what's one quote you keep with you from one of your champions?
From one of my champions was one quote.
Yeah.
It would be from my auntie. Every stage you touch is yours.
Mm.
Come on. Oh, I love it.
Mm.
Well, outside of that quote, are there any final words that you have for teens or parents regarding Black girls and if they're looking to be champions?
Yes. Put out the energy you want to receive. If you want support, give it. Study, study, study whatever it is that you want to be great in. Never stop learning and network.
Mm.
Network. Meet people who are in position to put you in position. Always find iron that can sharpen your iron. Once the iron around you gets dull, find someone else. And as a Black woman, know our powers. We're superheroes. We're born superheroes. Understand that and know that.
Yay. Damaria, did you have anything else before I close this out, or did you want to close this
Oh, you got that. And
out?
no, I don't have any more questions.
You want to thank Miss Ashley?
Thank you very much for coming and having the time to come on the call and just talk about how you started your life.
Of course. Thank you for having me. Thank you for listening.
You're
Absolutely.
welcome.
Great questions.
Thank you.
Of course.
All right. Well, Confidence Crew, there you have it. Miss Ashli Henderson. Ashley, where can they find you?
You can find me at My Cool Ash on everything. That's MyCoolash. And you can go on YouTube and check out my new special called 1320. Everybody loves it, so I know you're gonna love it too.
Oh, it was fire in
Thank
person
you.
and watching it on video. So,
Thank
yes.
you. Thank you.
It was very heartwarming and hilarious at the same time.
Thank you.
Y'all might shed a couple tears because it's so good, but you got to see it. Go
Thank you.
see it.
I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
absolutely. Well, Confidence Crew, y'all already know what it is. If you have not already, subscribe, like, share, because our girls are wanting to get this podcast to about 250 to 500 followers and subscribers. That's their goal, and their goal also is to be the #1 teen podcast in the nation. So
Beautiful.
hit that subscribe, like, and share. And you could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with us. We appreciate you, and we will see
Love
you
y'all.
on the next one.